Peer supporters are people with lived mental health experience. We radiate hope that other people can get well and stay well for long periods of time. Peer support is effective in helping people recover.
To have support is healing for a person. Someone that knows you next by your side while you're going through maybe some good times or even bad times. It's just so much better when you have someone who's been there.
Most county workers don't know what we do on the job, so they might think we don't do much work, but we do. They just aren't aware of what we do.
I have found that the ability for me to share my own personal experience and my own wellness journey creates a rapport very quickly, and people who may not be engaged with the clinic in other areas might come to trust the institution and might come to trust engaging in all of the services the clinic has to offer.
The opportunity is now to start really pushing the peer, having peers working side by side with medical professionals, clinicians and everybody else that's working within the mental health field, because we have valuable insight on what it's like to live with schizophrenia, major depression, anxiety, bipolar disease. We understand that.
I have a master's degree and a lot of experience doing theatrical kind of work, creative work. I do have a diagnosis. I have a bipolar illness, and I do have to manage that, but I'm not completely limited by that.
Our illness is only part of us, and it does not define us. What I typically do is go out to conservatees who've stepped down from locked facilities and tell them how I managed to live with schizophrenia with right medication and proper lifestyle, and how I managed to able to manage my symptoms and work with the county.
And for peer support, it's different for each peer support person and their supervisor and what team they're on. It depends on what job you'll be doing. Like I might be doing something, I do groups, like 9 to 10 groups a week, and that keeps me very busy. And then there'll be another peer support who goes out and talks to people at the hospitals and comes back to the office and does progress notes on what happened in those interviews. And that's very helpful for her and her team. And at the same time, my doing groups with the clients is very helpful for the clients.
Our ability to offer our shared experience is a wonderful engagement tool. Often people who come to the clinic, they'll have professional relationships with the clinician, with the doc, but what we offer is a human connection and a connection with story. Our role is to help people define journeys back to wellness, and we're working in conjunction with the client, having them come to describe what that path looks like and how they might, and working together on how they might get there. That's the most rewarding part of our work.
I am responsible for providing activities for the clients in the lobbies. So I provide puzzles and games and coloring and that kind of thing in both the lobbies. I'm in charge of the media there too. I also facilitate groups, which is a lot of fun for me. I asked what the clients wanted in terms of a group. I did a very informal survey, and most of them said anxiety. We deal with anxiety every day. Let's have an anxiety group. So I started up an anxiety group, and that's going really, really well.
They get an opportunity to socialize with other people here, and it just helps in their recovery. They learn new wellness tools, things that they didn't know that they like doing, that something they discovered. For example, one of the groups that we do here is Art and Wellness, and it's a group that allows people to come and socialize. Well, it's just great seeing people connect with one another, and it does make me feel thankful that they did come out and make those connections.
I've learned a lot since I've been working here. When I walked in, I didn't have no clue what I was getting myself into. But I have worked in a locked facility, and that was much different than this. And so I've learned since I've been here. What really helped me was when I first did my RAP and then became a facilitator for RAP. I learned that I had tools that were afforded to me, but I didn't even know I had them until I started working here.
One of the best things is that I have found a lot of mental health stability by being a peer support. My daily routines really help me out with my mental health diagnosis.
You know, I've been working with peers my entire career. So peers are just people that have lived experience and choose to make that their job in sharing that experience and walking side by side other people that are walking that path. Within the adult system, as well as our children's system, the whole goal is to integrate peer support throughout.
Sometimes people have an assumption that send somebody to the peers and they'll be taken care of, which is true. We support individuals on their recovery journey, but peer support in itself is not a replacement for good clinical practice. This is a collaborative effort, and we need all practitioners that are supporting the individual, their counselor, their doctor, their peer supporter, all to be on the same page.
Well, one of the things about peer support and peer recovery services is that it's an evidence-based practice. So there's scientific research that shows that for a person receiving clinical services, if they're also receiving peer support services, their recovery is better, it's stronger, it's more stable. They're going to the hospital less. They're going to access crisis services less. Saves money, it saves time and energy, and it helps individuals in their lives.
I think that it's really important as a supervisor of peer support specialists just to have an open door and be very supportive and lend an ear and find out what's going on. And also to certainly highlight their strengths. Sometimes people aren't aware of their strengths. And so if you can point it out to them, then you just can set people on fire. You know, it's important to get to know the person, to find out what they're all about, to find out what their story is, and to create a safe place where they can come and talk to you and share what's going on. I facilitate the monthly peer support meetings where all the peer support specialists from our entire adult system of care come together and we talk about different topics about the work that they're doing within our department. So people can share different events they're attending or what their specific job duties are and or any concerns or issues that they're having in their workplace, and they can lean on others.
I think that when dealing and thinking of the idea of working in an agency that supports peer support, it's very important to understand where those people are coming from, meaning the peers. If you don't understand it, then you're not going to be able to accept them into whatever you're trying to do.
Mental illness is very common, that 1 in 4 people experience mental illness sometime in their lives.
There's a separation of staff and client that we see. And also with our peer support, because now we have individuals who are identified as having a mental health diagnosis. And you can feel the divide there between some staff And some peer support specialists, like it's an us and them, that's a client, and I'm not comfortable. So, you know, there's a lot of training and education that a department will have to do for its staff. And just almost like an introduction into mental health, like what is mental health? What is that? You know, if you say somebody's psychotic, does that mean they're dangerous? No, it does not. Those two things do not mean the same thing. And so, you know, we got to talk about those things. And so as a department, you really just have to address that head on. You have to call that for what that is and take it on and provide the training and the education around that.